Yes, um, I must say that COVID-19 is not a easy virus, and the sooner persons realize that how dangerous this virus is, the better it will be for them, right? So just be cautious. Don't follow people who decide not to wear a mask because the virus is real. When it just started for me, I I um I was in Mandeville. I came out of the taxi. Apparently, I don't know where I can track it. I was saying in the taxi because shortly after getting out, I was fixing the mask with my hand. I didn't sanitize my hands first, and so I keep pulling the front of the mask up, and then about a few minutes afterwards, I felt like some dripping was coming from my nose, and it came out in the mask. And I said to my daughter that this feels so weird, and I don't like how it feels because I don't like when the inside of my mask is wet. And so I told her that I'm going to turn around the mask because it was a reversible mask, and so I did. But what I should have done is probably sanitize it before I turned it around because I was touching it. So maybe about an hour after, I started to give off a little cough, nothing serious. And then in the night, I realized that I was still having this throat issue, like a little coughing, and I drank some honey and lemon and ginger and felt a little better. But in the night, I started to feel extremely cold. I was in a sweater and I was under the sheets and I was still cold. And then about midnight, I was extremely hot. I was so hot that by the morning, my clothes was wet, the bed was wet, everything was wet. And so I was there saying I had the hog flu because that's how it started for me all the time. But what makes this different? The headache was horrible. You have pain cracking up all over your head, your eyes hurting, and your face hurting, your ears hurting. It's like the feeling that you get when you had mumps as a child. And then you have your feet hurting, my back hurting. And the difference with the pain with the hog flu and this COVID-19 is that the feet feel so weak that you don't want to move. It makes you feel as if you want to stay in one place. And I just feel that this COVID-19 thing just it's a demon that attacks you, and if you don't know how to treat it, it will take control of you. Because in the first week, I had to jump up from the bed and say, when I can't breathe, and I say, God, I'm not going to die. But at this point, I didn't know that I had it. So on the third day after feeling extremely sick now, the pain was getting worse. I went to the doctor and I was asking for augmentin for the pain, but he said he's not going to give me any antibiotic because he just have a feeling that I have the COVID virus. And so he asked me to come back after working hours at 4:30 to do the test. The test was expensive, but I was thinking about my daughter going to school and me passing it on to other persons. And so I said, you know what, let me do the test just in case. So I went and I did the test. And I was confident that it was flu, but to my disappointment, when he called me in after, he showed me the results. I took it, It seems like it looks like a pregnancy test where you squeeze whatever he swabbed from my throat in the section where you would put your urine, and the result would show the two lines going across for positive. And I took that from him. I took that home, and I was positive. I was tested positive, and it felt nerve-wracking at first because I didn't want to contract the virus, because I didn't leave home unless I'm coming to get food items or follow my daughter to do some business on the road. However, during that week, I dreamt every single night that somebody who died in the past came to visit me. Every night for the first 2 weeks, I couldn't breathe. I had to get up and sit in the bed and I do my breathing exercise. I would sing some loud songs. And my neighbors, probably if they heard me at the time, would have believed that I'm going crazy. But no, the singing was good for the lungs. And I did some chest exercise and I shout, I'm not going to die, I'm going to live. Right? I even find myself singing, no grave can hold my body down, because this thing is telling me to just lay down so that you can take your life. And I said no. I sit up, I walk around, and I still go online and set work so that I would sort of keep myself a bit active. It wasn't the best decision, but I had to do something to keep going. I went for morning walks in the sun, and my feet, they were very weak, feel as if they're going to collapse. So I had to walk slowly, and the fever continues every night. My clothes is wet, so I would have to change and wash those items in salve, and then I would disinfect my bed. I would spray it with Lysol on my pillowcase and change the bedding regularly so that those sweat that have burnt in the night would be washed and clean again for another day. And I was cautious in the sense that I would stay mainly in the room, right, not lying down, and my daughter would help me to steam she would help me to steam, and then I would open up my mouth and inhale and exhale, so that I could breathe properly. And she did a very tremendous job. She would make my turmeric and ginger with garlic and fever grass and lemon tea, right? And she would give that to me at least 4 or 5 times for the day. And she would allow me to steam with salt and menthol crystal and eucalyptus oil. I would place some of that oil on my scarf around my neck, because I had to keep my neck covered and my feet. I would use, she would give me onion to put in my socks and keep it under my feet. And she would give me leaf of life crushed with garlic and ginger, and scallion and onion and a little honey for the cold on my chest. The cold was horrible. You would cough until you vomit several days, and the cough, even to date, 4 weeks has passed and I'm still coughing. And it's not as bad as before, but I'm telling you, it's a horrible experience because I didn't even know myself at some point. I didn't even want to hear my phone ringing. I didn't want to see the light coming off from my phone. And I didn't take any pill when it was close to night because I didn't want those medication to make me fall asleep, because I was fearful that I would die in my sleep, because that's when this thing tend to attack you most, when you are laying down, right? When you're laying down and you even fall asleep, you just feel yourself fighting fighting to breathe, and that's when you actually wake up and jump up and sit on the bed and decide that you're not gonna go back to sleep because you don't want to die. And so you'll be there exercising and breathing and trying very hard. There was this video that you inhale and you keep in the breath for about 30 seconds, and then you exhale, and then you continue doing that over and over again. It was not easy, but it worked. And I wasn't eating, but then I had some soup. I keep taking the zinc tablet, and I was taking cough medicine, but that wasn't working. Took antibiotics, and that just gave me diarrhea. I had to keep walking, keep taking some sun and a bit of vitamin D as well. I had some ginger immune tablets and some vitamin C, and I took those as well, and iron tablet. So I keep going, keep taking these things and keep going. And then I started to drink the Vervine tea, and that was when I see most of the mucus coming up, and I started to feel better. But I don't know what it is, but this thing takes so long to go away, the coughing. And even after, I started to realize that I'm not remembering things very well. You know, it just take me by surprise, because 1 minute I would remember what is to be done, and then it takes a while for me to remember what I was thinking about. Somebody would be having a conversation with me on the phone, and I would be there talking with them, and at the end of the conversation, or in the midst of the conversation, I realized that I wasn't really hearing anything that they were saying, and I don't remember anything. And so it was hard, and I'm just giving thanks that I am alive. I've seen where I could have died if I'd allowed this demonic attack from this virus to get a hold of me. You know, you're literally hearing things at night. You know, I was hallucinating. Like you're hearing voices, lay down. You know, lay down, lay down. You don't want to follow those voices. And there were times when I heard my name, like my daughter say, Mom. And when I look, she wasn't there. You know, and I was answering until I started to say I'm not going to answer anymore, because I realized that she wasn't the one calling me. I don't know what it was, but the whole experience just, you know, it was just an unusual experience, and I don't think that I would want anyone. I don't really have enemies, but I wouldn't want anyone to contract this virus and have to go through what I've been through. And every day you feel a new symptom from the virus coming on, even after 4 weeks. Sometimes you feel like it's relapsing, and another day you feel great. I don't know what is happening right now with my body, but every day I'm just keep saying what next to expect. So I'm just encouraging persons to keep safe, wear your mask, and when you're adjusting your mask, don't adjust you by touching the front of it, adjust from the sides, because whatever I touch should have probably be on the mask, and when I turn it around, that makes it worse, right? I should have sprayed it, or when I get home I probably should have cleaned my nostrils with hydrogen peroxide, and but I didn't have a clue what was going on. Alright, so I'm just encouraging everyone to stay safe.